I assumed we weren't to begin with.
Well, Kyle wanted me to. Hi, guys.
Hey. Oh,
Uh,
are we going
we
now?
we are live. Yes. Hi.
Hey, perfect. Hello. We had tech issues, but we are here.
Yes. My bad.
I'm just gonna announce that to the rest of the world on Facebook right now.
Yeah, we're live. Sorry, I was trying to record and stream at the same time, but it wasn't letting me do it. So we're just gonna stream it and call
We
it a
can
day.
always just, upload the video after.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. I think we're allowed to do that actually. So hi,
I think it
Addie.
automatically uploads, like the other two tests we did were already up there, so.
Yeah, we will delete those at some point. But hello, sorry for the tech problems. My bad, my fault. Um, Shaylee,
Yes.
this episode was your idea.
Yes, it was. Because
Uh,
I decided that I was going to have an issue with the game and get obsessed with it and watch most of a playthrough in one sitting, and now my brain is.
do you want to give them a reference as to what the game is you're talking about?
Okay, so this came out like 3 years ago. I Googled, so it is a little bit old, but it's Detroit Becomes Human. And basically, or Detroit Become Human, I always say it wrong. Anyway, basic premise of the game is that we play, or whoever's playing it, I haven't actually played this because, dear God, there's too many buttons and jump scares and screw that. But whoever is playing plays as three different androids. And each of them, at the beginning of the game, have a different job and they progress through storylines and they, like, eventually kind of escape their masters, for lack of a better word, and stuff happens. But what gave me the idea for this episode was that one of the androids that you play as is a caregiver for an older man, and it got me thinking as to whether or not I would actually want an android like taking care of me full time.
Yeah.
So,
And what's like? I'll let you go. What's your opinion on that one?
um, my opinion is I don't know. On the one hand, it would be really, really nice because like I wouldn't have to be nice to them at all. I wouldn't have to like pretend that I felt like dealing with people all the time because there are a lot of days where I don't. And it's worse when like I wake up in the morning and like it's a newer person that hasn't really worked with me yet and like doesn't know the ropes. So I kind of have to train them and pretend I'm more awake than I am.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, I wouldn't like there are some that I really, really like and I like talking to and they've kind of become friends. So I'd miss that aspect of it. But
Yeah. Um. I mean, I guess I could just give my perspective, but for me, I've had one caregiver basically my entire life. So it's basically been my mom. My dad helps occasionally, um, but as far as like the same thing as you, as far as the interpersonal relationship, I would still have that with my parents. So I don't think I'd miss that as much. And then with an Android, I think I would I would. It'd be nice because then you could just program said Android to your specifications. Like for me, it'd be like, okay, I want to go to bed at X time, and I need help with X, X, and X, and be able to program that.
and
And
that's the end of that. And you don't have to say anything ever, or you could just be like, bring me a glass of water, and it would just do it instantly. No, like, I'll be back in a sec once I'm done taking care of other people. And then they forget about you, and an hour later, they're like, oh shit.
yeah, exactly. And like, okay, so I have one question for you though, because I like the idea, but have you ever seen the show iRobot?
Yes, I've seen a trailer, and they kept the people that I like watched play Detroit Become Human. They kept comparing it to that actually, because the guy that is the caregiver at the beginning of the game kind of turns into the iRobot guy, like the Sunny,
Yeah,
and like liberates all the androids eventually.
yeah. See that?
So that's a minor issue, but like if we worked out the whole wanting to dominate the world thing, I think we'd be okay.
See, that would be my biggest fear though. Is like IAs or AIs.
Yeah,
AIs is the right word. I say IAs because I have
because
okay.
that's what they're called.
Let me explain IAs before people mock me. Uh,
Yeah, no, it's a legit term, I promise. Instructional assistant.
yeah, that was the people that would sit beside me at school and be like, actually, no, you're a dumb, stupid idiot. And
But not really. No, that's not. Don't give people the wrong idea.
I mean, that's kind of what mine did. Is she would be like, no, you're just wrong, and here's how we fix that. She taught me that way. Um,
Mine very did not do that. Mine was solely my hands and a note taker, except for in math class. Then they would have to explain concepts.
I
But most
mean,
of the time
math.
it was, I look at you, you're writing this down.
Yeah, mine did a lot of like different things. She was very like hands on in terms of knew when I needed a kick in the ass. So she would be like, "No, you did that wrong. Let me explain why you're a dumb, stupid idiot, and then, you fix it yourself." She would make me fix it, but she would always explain like, "No, you're wrong." And then she did sometimes. It was kind of just periodic. She was very like a second mom to me, where it was like, "No, I expect more from you. So this is how this is gonna go down." So she
And
always,
that's the part that we would miss out on with an AI is that it wouldn't have that interpersonal relationship. Like I've known a lot of my IAs for years. They followed me from elementary to high school.
yeah. Well, mine did too. Yeah, I had one all the way from I think she was all the way from kindergarten to grade 12. So yeah, I would miss that. It's just the nice idea of just being able to click a button and be like, yeah, do this. It'd be
I mean, I
so good.
basically already can. It just sometimes takes them a while to get there. Like I've got I don't know if you can see this well, but I've got a little pendant, and anytime I hit it, it'll vibrate and start flashing, and it sends a signal to whoever happens to be working phone, and then they come and realize that I need something.
Yeah, which I mean that's excellent. That's a cool thing to have, but I
Problem
mean,
being, sometimes it takes them an hour to get to it.
yes, there. I mean, with AIs, it wouldn't be as backed up because you would be dedicated to the one person, right? So that's a bonus.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, that would be for me. It would be just cool because I'd be like, yeah, okay, great. Until it became a all-knowing being, and then I'd be like, oh
Sentient
god,
being, yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Like, I wouldn't know how to talk to it. I've gotten so programmed to like saying thank you and like, would you please like do this and this and this? Thank you. Like, I wouldn't know how to just not talk to it like a human, which I feel like would increase the possible sentient issue.
that's true. But it, let me ask you a question: if we programmed its voice to speak directly as Dolly Parton,
Oh God.
would you be able to speak to it?
I would pretend it would end up turning into a Dolly Parton situation. Like I would talk to it as if it were her and a human and not just a hunk of metal.
Not just a hunk of metal. Uh, does anyone else thank their Alexa?
Wait,
Um,
what? Do people do that? I mean, I accidentally do it like facetiously when I'm like, "Can you please just like play me a song?" And she like gets it wrong a couple times, and then I'll just be like, "Thank you," when she finally gets it right, like sarcastically. But I never actually tell her thank you.
I mean, I know I have a friend who's currently in chat that always tells Google, "Hey Google, to shut the f up." Literal f word, and it works too, which is wild.
Does it actually? That's amazing. Because it doesn't work with "she who shall not be named." You have to say stop. She won't respond to anything else.
Yeah, if Shaylee says that name, it will activate mine, and so therefore, let's not deal with that.
She will be known as "she who shall not be named."
Um, but the thing is, I feel like said friend would also, if the Google Home heard him say that and became self-aware, that would be the first thing it would do is kick his ass.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if it was suddenly
Royally
given a
kick
body,
his
it would
ass.
immediately kick his ass, or at least smite him somehow from the other world. I don't know.
I mean, back on topic, kind of, sort of, but I apologize for that. We go off tangents. This is the thing we do. Usually
It's
we
what
have
we
Kyle
do.
here to
This is
edit some
unedited.
of it
This
out.
is
Yeah.
live. It's fine.
But I was gonna say, so like, on the one hand, having that AI would be excellent, but how would you feel if, for example, it randomly shut off and stopped working? What?
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
That is why I have such an issue with power outages. Like, if somebody tells me, oh, the power's probably going to go out at some point, I'm like, literally everything I do is electronic, right down to what I'm sitting in. And if I can't charge it, I'm screwed.
Yeah. So that would be my fear, is because we have so little independence to begin with that if we rely too much on technology, then that becomes just kind of a
You kind of
problem once
have
it
to.
goes down, right?
Like, we kind of have no other choice, though. A lot of the stuff we can't physically do ourselves, so we do it virtually.
Well, for me, I have a Derek, which is my cousin.
Well, sure.
Uh, you have
I
a
do
mom.
not have a Derek. I have my parents, but they're an hour away, so.
They do. They are. But I mean, my mom and dad would always come help you if needed.
If need be, yeah, I suppose.
Um, what I'm trying to think of other things we could ask people. Because like
Is anybody else here?
yeah, there's Annie, and Annie's here, and Eric's here, aka Panda.
Hey!
The guy who yells at his Google Home.
I can't see the chat, so
Yeah,
I'm relying on Brian to convey when people are here.
I apologize for that. I don't know how to give you the chat as well, so.
All good, as long as you keep up with it.
Yeah, no, Eric's just talking about how it absolutely would kick his ass because he curses all the time. So I don't know. Is like, I mean, both of you guys kind of know us, but is there anything you guys want to actually overtly ask us while you're here? We're all wearing
Because we
green, by
have,
the way.
like, yes, enjoy the green. I am still presentable from top half up.
I mean, you had a shower, not your fault.
Yeah.
But,
It was either do it before supper and miss movie night, or not miss movie night, or do it after and miss movie night. So I went with the not missing movie night.
I mean, priorities, right? I got this golf shirt just for this occasion, actually.
Yeah, you did. You literally made your mom go out and buy a green shirt because the Ryder shirt got destroyed because of things.
It got destroyed because of my birthday when people pied me in the face, and yes, that was a thing. And no, I won't be putting that up publicly.
Was Annie there for that?
She was. Eric was not, and he does not get to see that live. What's the biggest misconception about CP? That's an interesting
Oh,
question.
God, that is a loaded question. Oh, God. Okay, you go for. I started the episode. You go. I need ideas to bounce off of for this one.
Biggest misconception? Like, I think we talked about it in a previous episode. But the biggest misconception for me is the physical disability, meaning you have a mental disability as well.
Yeah, like an intellectual struggle of some form with it.
Which is not entirely true. Like, especially with CP, because a lot of the time you look at us and our wrists aren't fully, solid and different things. So there's parts of our body that kind of would adhere to someone who would have a mental disability.
Yeah, like we fit the look of somebody that is probably intellectually disabled based on prejudgment.
Yeah, just on judgment alone. Like, you see me talk, then I stiffen up and basically am standing in my chair, which is not doesn't optically look good. So for me, that's the biggest misconception. I love the putting the foot in the mouth on the other side of it.
It's so much fun. I love doing it to substitute teachers. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah. I don't know if I told this story in the episode, but I had one lady come up to me in university, and she kneeled down and went like, "Oh, Dad, you're such an inspiration. Yeah, you're so inspiring." And then I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And she just like she turned like completely ghost white and was like, "I am so sorry. I am so sorry." And I'm like, whatever. It happens all the time.
Yes.
Like,
I had a substitute do that for the longest time. I don't even remember what class she was subbing in, but it was like a more intellectually intense class. And she had no idea what I was capable of. And it took her probably a solid month because she was a long-term sub. I don't remember why, but stuff happened. She
right.
was a long-term sub. It took her a very long time to realize exactly how smart I was. And then she ended up working at the school permanently, and it was hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
So, how long do you think it took her to realize how smart you were?
It took her probably a solid couple weeks. I mean,
Oh,
that happens with all subs just because they don't know you, they don't know what they're walking into, they don't know the routine.
oh, that's true. That is true. Um, I've had like even IAs, like sub
Yeah.
IAs come in, and I had one lady like touch my shoulder like, "Good morning,
Mm.
sweetie," and I'm like, "Whoa,
Yep, I've had that happen too. I
whoa,
hate it.
whoa, whoa,
Ugh.
whoa, whoa, whoa! It's not that kind of party."
And then there's the other like substitute IAs or teachers or whatever that just no matter how long they work with you, never get less awkward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if you've had subs, that same sub for several years, it's always like, yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing with this person.
Yeah, and you're just internally eye rolling, going, "I do not want to train you for the 500th time this year."
Yeah, that would be another nice thing to have like artificial intelligence for is just, being able to have, an option for, sub AIs and different things.
Yeah, because then they could just somehow. There would probably be some sort of like NFC situation where they could like stand next to each other, transfer all the data, and then life would be good.
Let me know if the stream is still good for you guys. It's just telling me that YouTube is not streaming enough video to maintain smooth streaming. If that's the case, I apologize. We have a question from Annie.
Oh no.
Is
And he always hits us with deep questions. I'm scared.
it's gonna be fine. Is getting people in your personal bubble a common problem that you find? Um, like just in our personal space.
Like in a COVID bubble sense.
Yeah, because there's two bubbles now. I'm not.
Yeah, which bubble? Like personal bubble, personal space bubble, or COVID bubble?
Either way, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Actually,
I
no.
mean,
Like COVID bubble, not at all. I've been stuck at home and just nothing.
the
Just
opposite for me because I have no choice but to let other random staff in, and I don't control what they do after work.
yeah. Does that bother you at all?
I mean, it does and it doesn't. It's one of those. It's not an ideal situation, but also they're wearing the masks and the shields and the all the protective stuff. And if they were sick, they'd be made to stay home. Like they're monitoring pretty closely.
Yeah. I would assume
So
they would have to take a COVID test like like every couple of days. Is that a,
I don't think they make you take COVID tests unless you actually have symptoms, but they do monitor temperature, they monitor exposure, they monitor all of that sort of stuff.
right? Well, we
So,
have clarification on the question. Personal space without asking. Yes, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, that
And it's weird and I hate it and ugh.
I have friends that get in my personal space without asking. Lol. Um,
And they're good with me. Like, I think it's because they just don't know me well enough that they're like, am I allowed to be annoying yet? But,
I mean, let's hope they. I mean, for your sake, let's hope they don't get there. But I, personal space, like people I don't know, like it happens way too much. Like
yeah.
it's like
But, like, at the same time, personal space isn't really even a thing because, like, if we're out and about and I happen to need help with something, like I drop something, random people are just gonna come into my space and help. Like I have to be okay with that.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, the other thing you could do is I had somebody phone me a few years ago, and I basically asked me like, you went through elementary school, high school, and university, and they were thinking about like putting their son in through, for lack of a better term, through regular school, and
Like typical neurotypical school, yeah.
yeah, and they were like, did you face any problems? And I was like,
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, I did, but at the same time, at a young age, if you're able to like integrate your son or daughter, whoever it may be, into a school setting.
Then it's just going to be normal. That's basically what mine was. The only stuff we had to adapt was like phys ed and like that one weird baby assignment in psych where you had to take a robot baby home. I just did that at school instead so that I had help with it.
Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's ability is different. Like, I'll get to your question in a second, Eric, but it's like for Shaylee and I, as long as we were able to like show the other kids at the time that hey, we can hold a conversation and be just as silly as and goofy as everybody else. Like, it's all good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So to your question, like segueing out of that, it's um when does it really affect your mental ability? Like CP, it all depends.
Math.
It all depends on just the level of brain damage, really.
Yeah. And like for us, mainly the part of the brain that was damaged is like the logical part that deals with like math and numbers and calculations and stuff.
Yeah.
We suck at math and science and anything that involves math.
Yes. Math. I will forever blame math on CP for the rest of my life. It's just the thing that's gonna happen.
It's my poor grade 12 math teacher. I was in with him at lunch every day at lunch, and it was like right after I had had a surgery too. So I had missed a bunch of stuff, and I felt so bad. I somehow got out of that class with like a 67 or something, and was happy, and have never had to take math again.
Yeah. Well, I think I told you this, but oh, what's happening here? We got no data on the stream. I don't know if we're still live or not.
Oh no!
But
Can you still hear us, guys? No.
oh, it says excellent connection. It said no data for a second, so my bad for the pause.
That was terrifying. Okay, we're alive. It's fine. Anyway.
So CP can be a handicap, or like a physical and a mental handicap. Yes, it absolutely can.
I've got a friend that has cognitive struggles with it too. Luckily, I skipped those for the most part.
But. Yeah, I mean, for me, when you're kids, they actually put me kind of through a test when I was little, like to go speak to a speech therapist or whatever. And I think I told this story in one of the videos, but I'll say it again. I basically started talking to this person, and my mom like made the choice right then and there based on how I was speaking that okay, he's good.
Yeah, so did my parents. I started talking when I was like 3, and they wanted to put me in special ed, and my dad was like, no, she's fine, let her go through regular school.
Yeah, so I mean, again, everyone's different, and that's why we're gonna do our best past March. It's CP Awareness Month, but we're going to keep doing these to get other people's perspectives on the show and other friends we have that are going to come on and talk about their lives too, because it can't, just always be about us.
Yeah, exactly. And we're one version of CP, we're one version of disabled in general. Everybody is different.
Yes, we do know somebody who was diagnosed and has no physical disabilities. What's her name?
Who? What are we talking about?
The girl that works at university.
Oh, yeah, my accessibility advisor. She has a very, very mild case of cerebral palsy. If you looked really close, you could see her limping and like one leg bent slightly more than the other, but she can pass as able-bodied.
I will answer that question in a second, but I have a funny story about that. We had to do, her and I had to do a photo shoot together for a bathroom that was being installed in Luther. Which is a federated college at our university. So when we were done, I was like, where are you headed? And she's like, Riddell. And I was like, oh, I'm going there too. Well, we might as well just walk together. In her case, walk together. In my case, roll. So we're talking or whatever. And I was like, so how did you get this job? And she was like,
oh, this is going. It's great.
She was like, wait, do you not know? And I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, I have cerebral palsy too. And
Don't
it's
feel
like,
bad. I didn't notice the first time. The only reason I noticed is because, also funny story, I don't remember when this was. Like, I had met her a few times before, like touring the university and whatever. But the first time I really noticed that she was a little bit disabled, I had, like, I was rolling into the entrance of Riddell, and it has those, like, two sets of weird curb cut situations. You know what I'm talking about, where it like goes into a ramp and then it comes
yeah,
off and
yeah,
then it goes
yeah,
into another one.
yeah.
I fell off of the side of that, and she had to be one of the people that happened to walk by and attempt to lift my chair back up onto the sidewalk.
Oh boy.
And I was like, oh no, because then I like looked down and was like, you are gonna struggle and it's gonna suck, and oh no.
Yeah, it's that's it was just it was really that was really embarrassing for me, and then for you it would have just been like a realization that she can't really handle
But
that.
yeah, exactly. I
So
mean, she helped as best she could, but
yeah, so it was super embarrassing because that was the first time ever in my life that I was never able to spot one of my own.
yeah, right. Like when you're looking at her face, you wouldn't notice. I guess maybe unless you paid really close attention to her mouth, she's kind of got that like half smile thing that we all do.
Yeah, like I mean, I was focused on. To be fair, I was focusing on driving to Riddell, but I didn't.
Exactly.
I mean, I still feel bad. And now
Like
to
if she
Annie's
was just sitting
question.
at a desk, you wouldn't notice.
Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
That was the end of my sentence.
Oh, my bad. To Annie's question. How accessible do you find the world these days, COVID aside? Is it improving or plateaued? Oh, man,
Nah.
these are deep questions. Jesus.
Depends on the area you're in.
Yeah.
I very specifically only go to areas I know I can get into. So like the university, fine. Southland Mall, fine. I have other spots that I know I can get to, like a certain nail salon, the Walmart. I don't tend to go out of my little like south end of the city bubble that I know I can get into.
Yeah. I I guess it's like a lot of it's getting better. It's just the best way I would put it is um it gets better when you force it to get better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, when you like bring up a thing and be like, "This is stupid," and then they fix it.
Yeah.
Like I remember having to do that a lot with the Festival of Words in Moose Jaw when I worked there for 2 years. Because for the longest time, the like main bathroom that I could kind of sort of fit in didn't even have an automatic door, and it was a heavy door. So I would have to drag somebody with me every time I had to pee and be like, if I'm not back in 20 minutes, come check on me kind of thing.
Yeah.
They finally did install an automatic door the second year I worked there, and it was lovely. So yay.
Yeah, it's I mean, for me it was always like at university and stuff. It was always like this bathroom sucks.
Yeah, there are like two on campus that I will use.
So it would often just happen where I would meet somebody in the hall and be like, "Yeah, this kind of isn't great," and they'd be like, "What can we do to fix it?" And
Mm-hmm.
then it would be like, "Well, I suggest this, this, and this," and then it turns out that person I was talking to happened to be the president of Campion, whatever, and then
Yeah.
we got some things fixed, and
And I
so
got lucky that I came that many years after you because one of the bathrooms that I like, you created.
yeah, you're welcome. Um, but honestly, like that's why it's kind of nice to do these shows, because as much as Shaylee and I kind of lament the fact that sometimes we have a voice and we're almost required to use it, it's
And it's annoying sometimes.
it's nice that way when we do speak up and things get done. It's like okay, it's at least it's working. Wow. We have like Eric from Texas just said, "I've never seen an automatic door on a West room. Let that say all it needs to." Okay,
Exactly.
so in Texas, not great.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, no, let's not ever come to Texas, apparently. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
wow, jeez. And he has another question. Here we go. What kind of funding is available for mobility aids? Is that the right term, or funding,
Um,
or funding for training and
the
therapy? Uh,
answer is not a lot.
it's not.
Can I go on a rant?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll just put my earphones down.
Okay, so when it comes to like physio and occupational therapy, everything, as far as I knew, for the most part, was covered up until I turned 18. I would have a physio regularly once or twice a week in Regina, occupational therapy, any other medical stuff I might need, and a whole team of people in Montreal. After you turn 18, that all goes away, and suddenly you have to, even if you have, like, if you want to book a physio appointment at Wascana or something, you have to come in with a specific issue that will have a specific timeline for getting fixed. And that's the end of that. You don't have any of the maintenance physio to like keep your muscles loose or whatever. It's a specific issue. They fix it. You're done.
Yeah. Well, in my one experience with that earlier this year, with like the getting of the Saskapole and stuff, which I mentioned in another episode, and if you haven't watched it, watch it or watch it for context.
Yes.
I'm not giving you free content, guys. But with the Saskapole or whatever, they installed it, and then I don't blame them for this. But what happened was they got called to do COVID related things. So I haven't heard from what were going to be my physio and occupational therapist for I was hoping for the foreseeable future. Haven't heard from them since like before 2021. So,
and it's not their fault either. It's just the way the system works. The idea is that you put more focus into kids with disabilities so that by the time they're adults, you don't have to. But the reality is our bodies deteriorate. And like CP isn't technically progressive, but you lose ability over time either way.
Yeah. I mean, that's true for able-bodied people, so it's doubly true for us, right?
Exactly.
So it's frustrating. Like it was always like growing up in school, like Shaylee said, I would have a different physiotherapist every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I could never develop a consistent program because they would all change it. It would always be like.
See, whereas at least mine stuck around, but then by the time I turned 18, I was screwed because he was like one of two that I had worked with.
Yeah, so it's just like, man, I don't know.
And when it comes to equipment, sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, go ahead.
Just to answer the other half of Annie's question, when it comes to equipment, like Sask Abilities will cover the basic stuff. Like I'm pretty sure they covered your chair and my older power chair. But the power chair that I am currently sitting in is a standing wheelchair, and that's supposed to help with like blood flow, blood pressure, like weight bearing to keep your bones strong. Nobody would cover that. And Wascana won't even touch it for repairs or anything because they didn't make it. I had to get it funded through Miracle.
Yes. And you did get it. And it is
I did.
It is one of the nicest chairs I've ever seen.
So. It's amazing. I love it so much. And if I ever have to replace it, I'm going to be very sad.
Have you guys found jobs and employment to be accommodating? See, for me, that has been really easy. Well, okay. I'll tell you what. When I graduated university, I tried to do everything on my own, and so I had I eventually got I was stuck, so I contacted Neil Squire, and they were like, "We'll help you make a resume and everything else," and I eventually got contacted by the people I'm working for now. And Neil Squire made sure within my first month of working there that I had adequate things I needed to survive in the workplace. So we're talking a desk where my power chair could fit under, different things like that. So I could, function as, for lack of a better term, as normally as possible. So they basically forced my work to be accommodating. And then a couple of times instances have come up where I've arrived early at the building and no one was there and it's minus 30 degrees outside. And that turned into, hey, boss, can we get a keypad out the back door so I can get in and not freeze to death. So even the most, helpful employers don't always know everything, and so there's
Yeah,
instances that come up where you're like, okay, this needs to be changed, and
yeah,
so
definitely,
um, despite the despite their willingness to be accommodating, there's always things that could be better.
definitely, yeah.
Do you want
And
to
I
talk?
think for me, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask, do you want to talk about your experience with
I was about to. I just launched into it. I'm sorry. I will stop interrupting and being ADD squirrel brain eventually.
No, no. I was just gonna ask, like, but you already started, so my bad again.
Anyway, and I think I was just going to say, I think for me, that's kind of where I got lucky because I will specifically plan where I'm working based on people that know me already. Like the Festival of Words job that I had, the people that were executive director of that and like running it already knew me because I had participated in programming before. So they kind of knew what I needed and they were super receptive to like anything that I brought up. They would like switch like the automatic door or just like never leaving me alone in an office because that's a really bad idea. And then when I got the job at Spinal Cord Injury Saskatchewan a couple of years ago, again, I was recommended by a friend that worked there. So she kind of knew my ability and she knew what I could do. And we worked it out that like there was always a coworker in the office so that, you know, I could ask for help, whatever. She would be willing to help if need be. And all was good for the most part. Even when we moved offices in that job, we made sure that the office was going to be accessible for me. I had a headset to answer the phone and type at the same time. They were really good about it. But I kind of planned it that way. Like even down to like my practicum, ideally I'm going to end up at a place that already kind of knows me. At least I'm hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one.
I don't know. Well, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say about that, but I think theoretically, hopefully, I'm going to end up at a place that already knows me.
Yes, and new news has come to light where she's a lot closer to graduating than we originally thought. So
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I am expected to be graduating early in the fall of next year, and I was like, I thought I had way more classes left. Okay.
Yep, and we'll be watching you roll across the stage.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, that's a deep question, Andy. Jesus, you're throwing bombs out
Oh,
there.
stop scaring me, Annie. Oh no. Okay, go.
What's one piece of advice you would give to 10-year-old Brian and Shaylee?
Oh God, don't make me give advice to my former self. I am not a functional human.
Oh, well, mine's more sad. I really don't even want to answer this one because I was.
Okay, well you go first, but I can be the hopefully happier one, even though I
Yeah,
am
because
not currently a functional human.
Eric says, congratulations, you're going to beat him out of college.
Oh, thank you.
Um, for me, like when I was 10, I was bullied a lot. So, because of my disability, obviously, things were a lot easier for people to pick on me. So my advice to 10-year-old me would be tell my dad sooner so that things would get better because like growing up as with a disability you doubt yourself enough most of the time like do I fit in all these other things so for me it would have been like hey man like talk to people because this is the only way this is going to get better for you because it was there's no other way to put it it was just like I was scared. I didn't go outside for recess in grade like 6, 7, and 8 because I was scared of what was going to happen. So, I mean, for me, it's sad and depressing, but that would be the advice I would give. Just because, um, tests like prepubescent boys are the worst humans ever. So it was just a difficult way to grow up. On that sad note, let's hope Shaylee has something happier.
I mean, that actually kind of gave me an idea. Mine is kind of the opposite. When I was growing up, I was kind of the fly on the wall choir kid that hid out in the basement and avoided people. I guess my advice would be people aren't as scary as you think they are. They're not judging you as much as you think they are, and put yourself out there and do stuff.
Yeah, well, and that's all she does now. So done a whole 365-degree turn on that one. She does a lot of stuff, which I'm super proud of her for.
Yeah, and it gets very, very busy sometimes, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm surprised she even made it for the live stream. I was thinking for a
Honestly,
while. I was thinking for a while you guys were just gonna get me.
Honestly, same. My schedule has been insane today, but we made it. We're here, and we're good.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that would be the advice. Oh, geez, Annie's got just beggars.
Why are you going so deep, Annie?
You know when superheroes have super abilities? Do you think CP has given you guys super abilities like sensitivity
Yes.
or empathy? Oh my god. Okay.
Yes.
So we filmed an episode that will be out, but we can get into it now because there's only.
Because we talked about this.
We did talk about this.
I'm running out of air. Go.
I was gonna let you go first, but since you're running out of air, have water.
I don't have any anywhere near me. Whatever.
Well, for me, I, because of me being able to being jump scary, I jump a lot, as Annie knows, to very easy things. So over my lifetime, it appears my ears have programmed themselves to have hyper hearing. So there was one time I was in my garage with my dad, and we're chilling. It was the middle of summer. I think we were watching golf or something. And there's no noise, and all of a sudden I pipe up and go, "Oh, Art's here." And my dad's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, Art's here." And he's like, "No, he's not." And yeah, I forgot to tell Shaylee this in the episode. He actually opened the garage door and looked outside.
And he didn't see him?
He wasn't there yet.
Amazing!
And then he closed the door, and then about 12 seconds later, Art pulled up. And my dad was like...
We've just trained ourselves to be on alert for any sound ever.
And my dad was like, "How in the blue hell did you hear that?"
Because we have to, otherwise it'll scare the crap out of us.
Yeah, so I have super sensitive hearing because I'm always kind of in the back of my brain. It appears I'm just always on edge, so I'm always like, okay, what the it's gonna scare me now, man.
What?
I said,
sorry,
what the hell's gonna scare me now, man?
Yeah, legit.
He does not have a Tesla, no. Do you have anything to add to that, Shaylee?
I don't know. I think I was just gonna say, with relation to the movie thing, I've got another, or the sound thing and the movie thing. I've got another whole thing I could talk about. But with relation to that, I think that's partly why I like watching with things with captions so much. It A, it helps me follow, and B, I can mute things if there's sketchy music, and nothing will scare the crap out of me, and I can still follow what's going on.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's fair. Every movie Aaron and I watch together has captions by default now.
For that reason.
So, I've actually made her a dedicated Plex server for all her disability-related films with captions.
And I have many of them that no one will ever want to watch or even find, so I appreciate that you've been digging and deep diving.
Actually, here's the thing. If you're bored... and he says, and you can eat chips and not miss anything due to crunching. If you're bored, we do have a couple of films up. I could invite you guys to the Plex server if you want to, delve yourself into a little bit more disability.
I mean, it's a little weird, but
it is a little weird. But I mean, if you're feeling up for it, go for it. I'm
watching the Christopher Reeve version of Weird
needed. So there's a couple films up there, or movies. I know films is right. It just feels weird to say. It feels
really formal and weird. Movies is better.
Super formal. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, I'm happy to do that.
I started watching the Christopher Reeve version of Rear Window again before this stream, and I missed it so much. I'm so glad you found it.
Yeah, is this... Okay, this is a weird question, but is this after his accident in real life?
Yes, he played himself, in the movie after the accident, and yeah.
Oh, wild. Films with a Z. Oh, you fancy. Yeah, my bad. I don't know why I went all weird there. Yeah, that's wild. So, Rear
So
Window
good.
stars Christopher Reeves, the guy who got, I think, it wasn't a car accident. I think he got
It
stomped
was
in
a
the,
horseback riding accident. He
yeah,
fell off a horse,
he fell off the horse and it stomped him or something, or did he just fall off?
something like that. I don't remember. I think he just fell and landed in such a way that it snapped his neck, I feel like.
Yeah. So yeah, it's about his life, not
No,
being
I
in
mean he
something.
plays a character. It's based on the 1954 Alfred Hitchcock thing where the dude breaks his leg and starts spying on people outside the window and like sees a murder happen and tries to solve it. It's that.
Oh, Annie with these bombs, man. Um,
Annie, what are you doing to me? Oh no.
who do you guys look up to, and not literally? Um, well, to add to your joke, literally everyone. Um,
Yes, literally everyone ever because I am 5'2" even when I'm standing.
she is 1 inch taller than me, so technically I look up to Shaylee.
Technically.
Um, but do you have one, Shaylee?
Not off the top of my head, you go first.
Okay. Well, when I was like 5 or 6, I got to meet Rick Hansen in Douglas Park.
Oh, nice.
Um, my commercial with me as being a little kid actually aired on the Royal aired for several years after that moment. I shook his hand, which is a foreign concept now, and his forearm was bigger than my entire body.
Oh,
This
wow.
was this was just after he like did his wheel around the world scenario thing, and yeah, he's somebody I've always looked up to. Um, he's always just been kind of the type of person that's like, hey man, you can basically do anything. Have I like overtly adhered to all that?
Meh? Ish?
Not so much. I will admit I kind of I'm a bit of a lazy guy. I'm working my way out of that.
So am I, it's fine.
I'm working my way out of that. But he's like somebody I've always kind of been like, yeah, man, you can basically do anything. I always tell people that are not me that, but but myself, it's like, eh. So it's hard. It's a
Yeah,
hard funk to get out of. But mine would
yeah,
probably be Rick Hansen. Like my favorite person of all time is Muhammad Ali, but that has nothing to do with my disability. It's more to do with what he stood for and things like that. So on that note, I'll
yeah.
let Shaylee take off.
See, this is the problem. I am too ADD to pick one person. I have so many disabled YouTubers that I follow and like keep up with their stories, like the Fry Life, Chelsea Hill of like the Push Girls and Roulettes. There's a bunch of other people that I follow, and I think like Brian and I are very opposite in that way, in that I will deep dive into random people in the disabled community and bring them to him, and he'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know they existed."
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I will deep dive. Like before I made you pirate all of those movies, did you know they existed?
Absolutely not. Okay, I will say I did watch Extraordinary Measures with like Brendan Fraser before I knew him.
Oh, so good.
So that was one I actively went. This is a good movie. Um,
So good. Harrison Ford is
Actually,
lovely.
Annie, recommendation for next week. Cause you were looking for movies, so recommendation for next week.
Yes, because Harrison Ford is lovely in it. He plays a really cranky scientist, and I love it.
Yes, he's basically Lowell but like old.
Yes,
Um, so yeah, I guess that pretty much answers that question.
kind of. Anyway, I don't really
I
have
hope.
specific people, but
I hope. But um, yeah. We're not used to talking for an hour straight.
for this long, but it's kind of fun. So if you guys have more questions,
Yeah,
like go for
anything.
it.
Yeah, if you want to throw it our way, yeah, happy to. But um, I'm glad you guys have been liking these videos and
Glad people
enjoying.
actually showed up, even just friends of ours. That it's nice.
It is nice. I mean, we would have just did an episode and had it pop up anyway, but no worries either way. We're glad you guys are here.
Mhm.
There's actually 4 people here at the moment.
Oh,
I
yay!
don't know who they are. There's
Other
anywhere.
people,
There,
yay! Not that we don't love your questions any, but yay, other people.
yeah, we're hoping we're mildly entertaining. Um, but I'm not gonna get. We're not gonna get scared of your incessant questions. No, because you're the only one typing. So
Yeah,
absolutely not.
exactly. You're the only one giving us material. Keep it coming.
Yeah. Because yours are like really deep and in depth, and
They're making us think.
yeah, we would have never thought of it without you. So, um, I I guess until we get a question, I can sort of explain to people how my workouts have been going and different things, and
Oh yeah, give us a muscle update.
we're actually I've allegedly lost some fat.
Yay.
Um, the plan, the hope is that um, within the next couple months here, I'll have a 6 pack. So that'll be interesting.
Love how that's just a concrete goal already, just 6 pack.
Yeah, well, my cousin's like, bro, you're gonna have a 6 pack, and I was like, cool. Nothing I'm overtly searching for, but
But I mean, hey, if it's there.
yeah. Oh, Annie with the bomb.
Yet another one? Alright, let's do
Good.
it.
Do you guys have thoughts about able-bodied people playing with um, various disabilities in movies?
Yes.
Yes. And I know that the person that I'm doing the show with will go on about a 20-minute rant. So the floor is yours.
Bad timing. Meds are just coming in. Hello. No, you're good. Come on in.
Oh,
You'll be briefly on camera. We'll edit you out later.
I mean, it's going straight to the YouTube, so you're going to be on camera.
Have a good night. See you.
Um, I mean, that's just a demonstration of life with.
Welcome to my life.
But yes, there's a huge problem with
Yes.
that.
Okay, see, I don't have a problem if it's done well. Sorry?
No, she's just gonna go. It's fine.
I don't have a problem if it's done well and they do their research. Like Michael Sheen in Music Within, oh my god, the method acting was amazing. However, if they're doing it in a way that is offensive or just not accurate, then it needs to stop.
Yeah. So, is there any examples of like offensive or not accurate ones?
Like really bad acting? Oh no. Let me think. What's one that annoys me? I mean, everybody's been talking about Sia's movie Music just because of the portrayals of autism. That's been one that's in my head lately because, dear God, that's stupid. But I'm trying to think of ones that have characters with CP that I didn't like so much.
Well, there's the guy in Breaking Bad that actually had CPE that played the character.
Yeah, that was nice. And the guy in Speechless, whoever plays JJ, I don't actually, Micah Fowler, I believe his name was. They actually hired a guy with CP, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, so it's nice when they do acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, yeah, this is a thing. So, I mean, I do think that's going to change with the scope of the world now. Like, a lot of voice actors are giving up their spots for people that are the right ethnicity and different things so that it's
at the right ability level
can be properly represented. Like I know Family Guy is a terrible example, but
yeah, why are we okay? Go.
But I'm just saying they use the lady from Sue Thomas FBI is actually a regular recurring character.
Yeah, I forgot she was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a regular recurring character on the show, so they actually do a fairly good job, despite their jokes and different things, of allowing.
And they have Marley Matlin on the show too, which yay!
Yes. So, I mean, despite that and the jokes, they actually allow them to represent themselves, which is really
Which
cool.
is amazing, especially considering, both of those people are deaf and voice acting. The accommodations they would have had to make, like, wow.
Yeah, so that's nice. I mean, um, I don't watch like the difference between Shaylee and I guess that's changing now.
I'm deep deaf,
But
like hard.
I rarely seek out movies with disability in them because
Oh, I do.
I know she's the buffer system for me where it's like, hey, maybe you should pay attention to our community a little bit, and instead of watching your silly cartoons in the office. And I love the office, and
I will never get into The Office. I'm
Annie
sorry. I
don't roast
can't
me
do
for
it.
that,
Annie will be offended too. I'm sorry.
but I mean, it's I've never had a problem with like I've never actively like suck out or is that the right word? That's not the right word.
like, sought out.
Sought out. Thank you. Suck out. What is that? Sought out. Movies with disability and different things. So Jesus, Randall. Randall needs help with his computer. Not the Randy you know, Jay. Um, but yeah, I've never sought that out, so it's just a new
Whereas I
domain that
do,
I'm
I
getting
will find
into.
all of it. And I don't know why I'm like that. I really don't. It's just fun. Like, I picked up sign language for that reason. I started watching Switched at Birth because there was actual deaf actors in it. And also intriguing, and then I ended up picking up sign language. So, and
Yeah,
it hasn't left.
yeah. I mean, and that's great. Like the shows you've shown me are all really good. Like,
Yeah, like I made you watch House solely, and again, I started watching House because at that time I was in surgery recovery, and like, dude used a cane, and I was like, yay!
yeah, and it's just like, oh yeah, like, and he's really hilarious. Like,
It's
he's
great.
who I
I could rant
aspire
about
to
House for
be
hours.
as old. So, like, if I was
40
old,
something
I
too.
want to
So.
be that person. That's funny. So Eric pointed out you do know sign language! Exclamation point. You signed thank you earlier, and I wasn't sure if it was on purpose. Yes.
It's just kind of a default. I don't mean to do it anymore, and I probably shouldn't because I'm not actually good at it, but it's habit at this point.
That's fair. Um, this
But
is
yes, I do know a little bit.
She does. She's trying to teach me the I love you one, but my fingers can't do it.
I want to see if you can. I want to see if we're getting better.
I can't. I'm not doing it on stream. That's way too, that's way too much pressure. Way too much pressure.
I
Uh,
use it as a wave at this point, which I think
I
you
mean
kind of picked up a
it
little.
is your wave for the end of our show.
It is. Unintentionally, I just kind of did it. And now it's a thing, and I'm going with it.
Um. Okay, so to Annie's question, and this might be our last one as we've officially hit an hour. How do you think your experience helped you in your current job and Shaylee in your future career? Um,
Ooh, that is a loaded. I mean, I bring this up in classes all the time.
my okay, Eric, my fingers don't do the thing. Okay,
What does he want to see?
he wants to see. Okay. I need
Here,
to.
I'll demo, and
I
then
need to like pull up this myself on the screen because I can't really see myself. All right, so here you go.
pointer finger up, thumb out, other two down.
See, this is my problem with my fingers. They want to move at the same time.
And like, if I were to try to do it with this hand, same problem. But I can do it on this side because it's the dominant hand.
I mean, if I don't want to get this video kicked off YouTube, but I can do the finger real easy. So, with that one, I just like look and watch my fingers. They're just not doing it. They're just not. It's just not a thing.
And I can drop into it easy as pie.
So it's just not a thing. So my bad.
Anyway, back to Amy's question.
Annie's question. Sorry. How well do you think your experiences help you in your current job and Shaylee in your future? Uh, Well, for me, um, we build houses almost on a yearly basis for people with intellectual disabilities, and many of them are required to use a wheelchair. So, despite being a community engagement specialist, where I help with golf tournaments and promotions and things like that, I also help with like advice on where to put certain buttons and things for accessibility related uh, programs and doors and whatever else you want to put there. But I do that. So just my life experience in and of itself has really helped me with that part of it. I am actually going to be serving on the succession plan for our next building as well because they want me to be like, so what do you need as our for lack of a better word, disabled employee? Like,
Yay!
what kind of office do you need? What kind of buttons? Different things like that. So I will be
Woo.
serving on that committee, working with the board. So when we move, if and when we move, it's a building that works for me and the people that are going to be coming in and out. So um, we will see where that goes. But to answer that question, it's helped a lot. It's basically how I got my job. Actually, is just straight up life experience because I graduated with a history degree. So which has absolutely nothing to do with my current job.
With anything at all. History has
So
nothing to do with tech support.
so Shaylee, in your experience with your work terms and different things, and possibly in social work, how's that worked for you?
Well, it's funny that this comes up now because I just had to do a land acknowledgement assignment for my social work with Indigenous people class. And like, you know how the university has like that land acknowledgement that they'll do before assemblies and whatnot? We had to do one of those and make it personal. And I literally said, like, I will never understand what like Indigenous people go through. And like, I told myself I wasn't going to bring this up in the land acknowledgement, but like, as a disabled woman, I get discriminated against all the time, whether people mean to or not. And like, it's the whole reason I got into social work is because I knew that I could help people like me. And I've had that experience with like people not treating me fairly because of something you can't control. And it's taught me how to advocate and it's taught me how to be there for other people. And when it comes to working with people with disabilities, a lot of the stuff that I like possibly see myself doing, I've already done, like working through the social services system, trying to get employed with a disability, trying to go to school, all that sort of stuff. Been there, done that. I've got the experience, and therefore I can pass it on to other people.
Yeah, I'm. That's. You're gonna be. I've always told you you're gonna be an incredible social worker. So it's.
Aww.
She's very, like, she. When I have when we first started dating, when I had a headache, she would get a headache. So it was.
But yeah, because I don't want you feeling pain alone.
Yeah. So she's very empathetic, and
Yeah. I
that
think I've
will.
just learned to read a room really well too. That helps.
Yeah, and so that'll help in basically any uh, you know, any job you do. So that's super exciting.
It'll
Um,
be good.
I'm excited to see what you do for your summer job and your practicum and
Yeah,
everything
we'll see
else.
how that goes. There are possibilities in the works, so we
Um,
shall see.
but I think we've gabbed at you guys for long
Jabber.
enough. Um, those of you that showed up, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for coming and giving us material.
Thank you for going on a ride with us for CP Awareness Month. We love you guys. We still will be doing these. I'm actually working on a couple of collaborations with some other YouTube channels.
One guy in the UK, which is awesome.
So be on the lookout for that. Uh,
And see one of you in half an hour ish.
yeah. Do I do the outro for the for
Are we
Kyle?
doing the outro? I don't know.
Do I do the outro for Kyle? Uh, share the video, like the video, subscribe, hit
Click the notification bell.
like Shaylee always says.
Yes, that is my domain. Let me keep it.
Okay, well, I took it once. Tell all your friends that we love you,
And we'll see you guys next time.
and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. And